about the worst drug test that I ever had to take. Last summer, I got an internship at KC&G back home, and to get the internship, you had to take a preliminary drug test. I knew I was taking the drug test before I went there, and I guess I was pretty confident that I was going to pass it, so I wasn't really thinking about it before I got there. So I go to the huge PSE&G building, the huge glass, skyscraper, where they have doctors and LabCorps in there. So I'm in there, the only person in there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm sitting there filling out all the paperwork, and I'm sitting there and I think, it's like, oh man, I don't have to take a piss at all. I'm sitting there, I'm trying to push my bladder, I was like, oh my god, it's like I don't have to pee at all. So I'm thinking, I was like, all right, I still got time. I fill out all the paperwork. I'm probably gonna have to process everything. I fill my paperwork in. I hand it in, and right when I hand it in, they're like, all right, John, we're ready for you. So I have to go into the doctor's office. They hand me the little plastic cup, and they're like, all right, just go into the bathroom. You can't flush anything. Come out. So go in there, come out, and I couldn't really go to the bathroom. I felt like, I feel like that much into the cup. She comes out, the doctor looks at me, she's like an older woman. She looks at me, she's like, it's not going to be enough, honey. And so she's like, do you not have to go to the bathroom? I was like, no, I really don't. I was like, kind of, forgot that I was coming to take a drug test. And she's like, all right, well, we'll sit you in the lobby, we'll give you some water, and we'll try again in a couple minutes. So go back into the lobby, all embarrassed that, I couldn't pee in a cup. And so I'm like, all right, I'll get a bottle of water in me and I'll be good. They come out and they give me two little tiny Dixie cups, the ones that are this small. I'm like, what is this gonna do for me? I'm sitting there, I down the 2 Dixie cups in 2 seconds, and they're like, all right. They call me back in 10 minutes later. They're like, do you have to go? And I was like, yeah, let's go for it. Let's try it. And so I go in there, I get it, I'm good. I fill the cup up, and I give it back to her. And so she has to take the cup and pour it into all these little test tubes. So she's taking the cup and pouring it into all these little test tubes, and I guess her elbow slipped, so she dropped the cup and pee just went everywhere. It's all over her arm, it's all over her feet. She turns around and looks at me, and she's like, oh no. And I was just like, oh my god. I was like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm really sorry, honey, but we're going to have to go again. So at this point, I had a lab that got in the lab probably at 8. At this point, it's probably 9:30. Sitting there, everybody's starting to come in, and I text my uncle who works in the office and tell him to bring me down a bottle of water. So it brings me down one of those huge things of water. I don't even know how many liters it is, but it brings me down one of those, and I chug it. I don't think I've ever chugged a bottle of water so fast. And so I'm sitting there for 30 minutes now, and now I really have to go to the bathroom. But now there's 20 guys in there waiting to take drug tests. So I'm sitting there now, I'm crossing my legs. I'm fidgeting in my seat, and finally she calls me back in, and I take the cup, run into the bathroom, and I think I peed I could fill it up to the most you can fill this cup up to. I handed it back to her, I was like, here you go. And she's like, all right, just go home. And I was like, all right. And then when I left the doctor's office, my uncle got all of his coworkers to laugh at me. And it was very embarrassing, but it was a very draining experience, and I don't ever want to take a drug test again.